Hello, I'm Jared Curtis. I'm the quality manager and one of the factory pilots here at Diamond Aircraft in London, Ontario, and let's go on a factory tour. So this is our avionics shop. So in this shop, we manufacture all of the aircraft instrument panels, all of the harnesses for the aircraft, any of the remote stacks that hold the radios, those types of things. So this is probably one of the more high-tech departments that we have. So all of the instrument panel harnesses here are produced. The wires come in pre-marked to which wire number they are, and then the technician will take them and apply all the terminal ends, everything onto the board here. It connects into the board just like an aircraft instrument panel, and then to test it, there's a big computer machine that comes over and they plug it in to the board here to do a complete ring out, so they can make sure that all of the white wires are all pinned up and in the right location. So in this station, they build up the instrument panel, taking all the instrument panel harnesses and everything from the previous station. They install all the wires and everything on the back of the panel, start building it up, getting all the switches installed, all the terminals. This one is about 30% finished, and then as it completes, it'll look something like this. This one's finished, ready to go to the assembly line to install on a DA62. Nicely cleaned up. The screens will be left out of the instrument panel until final assembly has been completed in order to prevent any damage to the screens. So we're in the composite operations department where we fabricate all of the main composite parts for all of our aircraft. So these three machines behind me here are resin impregnation machines. So they take the raw fiberglass or carbon fiber and they impregnate the resin for the particular part that they're going to manufacture. It comes off in sheets, and then the technician will take the impregnated cloth over to a mold. So in this case, we have a wing mold that's set up over here. That's going to be the start of production of a wing. So depending on the part, whatever the engineering drawing specifies, they'll lay up the layers of composite material, fiberglass or carbon fiber, in the direction and number of layers specified in the drawing. Once that's all done, then they'll take this material over here, plastic and peel ply and breather cloth. They'll bag it and place it under vacuum to make sure that all the layers take the shape of the mold. So after the part is placed under vacuum, the technicians will roll it down here into this oven. So we consider a low temperature oven to cure the part to a handling strength, so that then it could be completed in more higher level operations. But we can actually walk into this oven because it's only kept at about 45 degrees Celsius. In here you can see all of the parts that have been laid up today and are sitting under vacuum in their molds. So they'll cure in here in about 45 degrees Celsius. So once all of the parts are done in their pre-curing process, it's time to process them further. So after that, all that plastic and breather cloth and everything will get removed. And then depending on the part, it'll go to another station where it'll either get trimmed or additional parts will get bonded. So over here, we have a piece of the center section where you can see this additional tooling. So it would have been laid up. The part would get trimmed, and then they've secured and they're bonding in additional pieces to the top of this for further processing. That process will continue depending on the complexity of the part until all of the internal components of a composite part are finished. So in the case of a wing shell, if that was a wing skin, it would come out, we'd bond in all of the ribs, spars, everything that you'd normally see on the inside of a wing. The opposite side of the wing would also get laid up flat, and then when it's ready, the two molds will flip on a crane and they attach together to control the outside shape of the mold. So if there's any variation in the composite process, it's contained within the bond lines. After that, it gets demolded from there and gets continued for processing to what we call post-curing, which is a high temperature cure, additional trimming operations if required, and then off to paint and assembly. So after all of the layup and fabrication work is done in the composite shop, the final step to make it a part that's strong enough to go on an airplane, we call it post-curing. So the aircraft parts will come out here and they go to a second set of ovens off to my right here. So those ovens will go up to 80 Celsius and get the final strength of the composite part before the next operation, which would be paint. So after the painting process, all the wings and stabilizers and flight controls come over here. The wings get the fuel tanks installed, the push rods, the flight controls, lights, everything gets installed before going to final assembly. So in this area, the technicians bond the plexiglass to the frames for all the canopies, doors, all the latch mechanisms and locks are all installed in this area. So this is the beginning of the assembly line for the DA40 and the DA62, where they'll take all the parts that have been pre-assembled and taken from paint and build it up into a complete aircraft. So in this area, all of the components that we looked at to this point come together and they start to take the form of a completed aircraft. So here we're at the end of the assembly line. It's taken about 6 weeks to final assemble the aircraft. In this station, they'll install the interior, engine, propeller, everything goes on, with the next step being flight testing. So after the final assembly process is done, every single aircraft gets a flight test of approximately 3 to 5 hours and a minimum of 3 flights to cover all aircraft systems testing, avionics, performance, stability, everything to make sure it's good for the customer. So that's the end of the tour of Diamond Aircraft Canada. At this point, the aircraft will get a final detailing and be delivered to the customer.